Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to come up here real quick. Something just popped into my mind. Um, as I was sitting back, just doing my everyday situations and everyday routines, something told me to just say appreciate yesterday, right? I don't know what the title is. I just popped on and it should say that. But I'm gonna talk about appreciating yesterday. And what do I mean by appreciating yesterday? I mean that, you know, a lot has happened in my life. A lot has happened in everybody's life, but I'm gonna put it on me, right? Because but a lot has happened in my life. It's been well, it's been well said and well documented about the things that have happened in my life. But I just want to appreciate it, right? You want to appreciate the losses? Yeah, I'm gonna appreciate the losses. You want to appreciate the wins? Yeah, I'm gonna appreciate the wins. Why? Because certain things in life it happens, and it helps you become the person that you are today, right? If everything would have went right in my life, I wouldn't know how to appreciate the things that was earned or given to me because everything is right, right? So a lot of things happen because there's a balance in life. What up, though, my 33 brother? What up, though? Right? And the fact that you can overcome a situation, you overcome the adversities in life, right? Whether it's you know overcoming a illness, overcoming a death, overcoming a loss as far as financial or job or anything of that nature. You have to appreciate where you have come from in your life. Every day is something new. Every day it should be a lesson learned, excuse me, not earned, a lesson learned. And if you go about it on an everyday situation, you will be understanding that you have to appreciate what you have gone through. I understand it was a lot of pain. I understand there's a lot of suffering. I understand it's a lot of torment that happened you know, in the life of me, my life, right? I get it. I had to go through it, right? I had to go through the loss of a mother. I had to go through a loss of a father. I had to go through a loss of a little brother. I had to go through the loss and watch the faces of my little brother's children as they mourn their dad. Right? You go through those situations, but you have to appreciate where it brings you today. Right? If you don't appreciate yesterday, how could you value today? How could you value where you are at this particular moment in time? How could you appreciate, the strength that was given or added unto you? Sometimes because we have to go through those losses or the down times, you don't understand that you have to pull yourself up in order to get away from the down times, right? So when you understand how much you had to pull yourself up, you have to appreciate yesterday. And for those of you that may be popping in, I'm not talking about yesterday as in the day before today. I'm talking about yesterday, the past lives, right? The past life that you went through. Your teenage years is not is supposed to prepare you for your adulthood, but a lot of our teenage years was we was for me. I was adulting. I was adulting as a teenager, right? If you understand, you got to be responsible. You responsible at 14. You responsible at 15. That means I had to move things to the side. I didn't have a senior prom. I didn't have those the sophomore junior jinxes in high school. Why? Because I had to be an adult. I had to help my grandmother who was up there in age to help my little brother who was going through an illness, right? And that very illness takes him out about 20 years later. So you have to understand that sometimes you have to truly appreciate it. Yeah, the losses, it sucks. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hold you. It sucks that you go through those losses. But if it gets you where you are today, it gets you to an understanding, it gets you to a discernment, it gets you to a, it's not even a peace, it gets you to a balance in your life. You have to appreciate what has happened. You really truly do. Does it mean that you have to you have to enjoy it? No, you have to appreciate it. Means you have to learn from the lessons of yesterday. You have to learn from the loss of your brother. Okay, so now that he lost his life because of that, I can't do the things that he used to do. I can't. You know what I mean? I have to stay away from the diabetic attributes that give you the diabetes, right? I can't. I have to stay away from certain things that caused my parents to lose their lives, whether it's pneumonia, whether it's uh, 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 drugs, whatever it was, right? I have to separate myself from things. So that's why you don't see me partying like that. I've never been a partier. I've never been one of those people that, yo, pass me a shot. Yo, pass me the blunt or whatever it is. I'm not one of those people. Naga, what's going on with you? I don't do none of that because I saw what is done yesterday. So I have to appreciate the lessons that I had to learn, even if it's through somebody else's experience, right? But it becomes my experience because I get to observe it, right? I had to observe the fact that my little brother wasn't taking care of himself and uh he was losing his life because diabetes was kicking in and taking over and making him lose his faculties to the extent to where he had to go to hospitals a couple of times. He didn't have his insulin because the insulin was so jacked up and high priced that I had to, watch him slim up in a way that I've never seen a person slim up before. Right? I had to watch that. I had to observe that. Yo, you good? Nah, I'm good, bro. Yo, I just need something to hold me. I just need a taste, something that's tasting my. I need something that keeps me not dehydrated. You can't have no. He have water. He'll throw it up. Right? I seen all of those experiences, so I have to appreciate the fact that he he went through the struggle. And it may sound crazy, and it may sound kind of fucked up, but I had to learn from that experience. I had to learn from it. Like, yo, this is what happens when you don't take care of your body. This is what happens when you play with these illnesses and think you got it under control when you ain't even doing what you need to do in life. You have to appreciate the fact that you are where you are today because somebody went through it. Somebody went through the situation because it happened in that manner, right? I can't. I'm not sitting here saying I'm the healthiest of people. I'm not saying that by any means. Hey, logical, how you feeling? I'm not saying that by any means whatsoever. All I'm saying is I appreciate it because I seen the opposite if I was doing what they were doing. Right? Like I said, he's not here anymore. My little brother's not here anymore. So I have to sit there and be the best uncle I could possibly be to his children. I have to be Riaz, good evening. I have to be the best grand uncle I could be to his grandchild who he's never seen. I mean, yeah, who he's never seen. And she, because it's a girl, it's my niece, my grandniece, she won't have the experience to know what her grandfather is like. Her mother could tell her stories, right? What dad would do this and dad this and dad that, and it's like it's not the same. It's not the same as you experiencing that individual being here. So it's like, wow, my grand, you hear the stories about your great grands, the elders that passed before you. Yeah, Riaz, I'm glad to hear that. Right? When you hear the elders, right, and your grandmother was just damn. You say, "Damn, I wish I got to experience that." Right? But all you can do is live through the stories of yesterday. Well, I got to appreciate yesterday because I lived through those stories. I'm not just hearing a story. I got to see it. I got to see my great grandmother when she put her hair in a ponytail, looking like that great chief. that lady, not a chief, but the lady Indian in the family, and she's telling us, we from the tribe in Virginia, the Cherokee tribe in Virginia, so on and so forth. And I'm like, that's cool. And then I go back and do the history, do the research to see that the family was in the Cherokee tribe. One of my family members really tried to put himself in the Cherokee tribe, and the fact of the matter is, because he was a man of color, he had pushback and all of these other things. But I have to appreciate the fact that he fought through it and went on and kept going and going and going until he realized, until he got what he wanted in life. You know what I mean? So when you go through these things, you have to understand, appreciate yesterday, appreciate the things that has happened in your life, appreciate the growth that you started from yesterday. It's not going to be all peaches and cream. It's not going to be all roses, right? Even last year, you know what I mean? I'm telling everybody to complete the year, the year of completion. I did the year of completion. Now it's about a year of self. And one of the things that you have to understand about, you know, pouring into yourself or receiving things for yourself is that you have to appreciate where the hell you came from. If you don't appreciate where you come from, how the hell you going to accept what it has, what's coming into you, or what's coming to you, or what's being added onto you? You can't accept that if you don't know where the hell you came from. You don't appreciate the good and the bad. Everybody want to accept the good, but what about the bad? The bad made you more diverse to accept the good that's ready to come for you today. And when you understand that part, you say, you know what? I appreciate yesterday. I appreciate the fact that I had to go through those journeys. I had to go travel to find myself. I'm not trying to say I'm Jesus, but you have to understand, when you are a lost person, right? You lost in the source, as people would say. You lost in the ways of this world. You have to go and you have to travel to find yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. You should do all three because it makes you a better person. It makes you accept what you have gained today, at this moment, at this time, right? So I had to go through those struggles. I had to be an adult to take care of my little brother. I had to be there to help my grandmother go through these situations. And even though we didn't get the final score that we wanted, or the victory that we wanted, I still gained something, right? The fact that the family fought over a whole home, right? And then we all dispersed because the money was separated, and all of these other things. It got me to understand I need to get my ass up and do what I need to do. And so today I have a home. I have a home for my family. It's not an apartment. I'm not renting it. I own a home for my family. My children has something to come to, as long as I take care of what I need to take care of. But just because you appreciate what you have today, it doesn't mean I don't have more work to do. But you still have to appreciate how far you came, because there was a time you was almost homeless. There was a time, you know what I mean? You almost had to live out of a car type situation, right? But luckily for me, I've made a way through that altercation. I made it through that situation, and now here I am, 20 years later, saying, you know what? I see what the struggle was necessary, because it makes you get off your ass and do what you need to do. You understand? You got to do what you got to do. It's not a want. You need to do what you need to do, but you have to appreciate where the hell you're coming from in order to do the things that you need to do. People want to say, you know what? I need money, but I won't go work at McDonald's. If I got to go work at McDonald's, I'm going to work at McDonald's. I'm gonna make $1 out of 15 cents. I can do that. I've done it before, right? But I don't want to go the route that most people thinking that you make $1 out of 15 cents. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't, y'all pick it up later, right? But at the end of the day, I don't have to go the way of the world. I don't have to act like I'm in the 90s and the late 80s and early 90s and go outside and pick something up and do all of those things. I don't have to do that, right? I seen some honest people walk through those streets to get away from the nickel and dimers, right? I understand how much work that it took. I also understand, the fact that even when I was going through my struggles, I found a way to make somebody else happy. But now in the year of self, I have to appreciate the fact that I have to love me today. I have to pour into myself today. Not to say that there's not people around me that's not pouring into me, but I gotta care first. I gotta love myself first. I can't expect no one to love me until I love me. And the fact that people don't accept or don't even appreciate the fact that you came this far from yesterday when you couldn't love yourself, when you didn't know how to love yourself, when you don't have the example how to love yourself, you have to appreciate how far you came from yesterday to today. So I'm telling you to appreciate yesterday. Because if you don't appreciate yesterday, you're not going to understand today, and you damn sure ain't going to understand what tomorrow has in store for you because you don't appreciate how far you come, right? People always talking about darkness, darkness. You come from darkness. You was in the dark at one point of your life. I was in the dark. I didn't do the things that I needed to do. I thought I was doing the right thing, but was doing the wrong thing because I was in the dark. But out of that darkness, a beautiful thing came. Yo, an idea. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put this money over here, or let's go ahead and go get this job over here, or let me go ahead and be the best brother or uncle or father that I can be, right? I had to learn all of that, but you have to appreciate how far you came from yesterday. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't get. This is a thing that a lot of people don't understand. But I'm telling you, in the year yourself, that's the first thing I had to understand. Like I said, I was just doing things as usual, right? But understanding that, wait a minute, even when you go through a situation, even when you study in another thing, a revelation is going to come. It's only a revelation because you did not know what it was. It's only revealed to you because you ain't pay attention because it was right in front of you the whole entire time. Because you didn't appreciate what the lesson was yesterday, it's going to become a revelation to you. So that's why you have to accept or appreciate, not accept. You had to accept it, of course, but it's now time for you to appreciate it. Damn, look how far I came. You understand? Like, yo, I used to be a crazy kid. I used to be a bookworm. I used to do this. I used to do that. Now you turn around and you see how far you came. Like, yo, I could have been one of those dudes that's not here. I could have been one of those girls that's out there. But I'm one of those people that made it through a storm. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's not another storm coming. It just means that you made it out of a storm that you had to weather it because you had to get to where you need to be today. Like I said, everybody's storm is different. But if you don't appreciate how you got out of that storm, you ain't gonna know how to appreciate the sunlight or the blooming season that's ahead of you today, or that's right in front of you today. And these are the things that I want you to understand. Now, y'all know I don't do just a pop up. Y'all know I come up here ready to prepared and all of this other stuff. This had to come out today because somebody, maybe I'm talking to myself. I don't know. Maybe I am. But somebody needs to appreciate yesterday in this year of the one, right? Because in order to become one, you have to accept yesterday, prepare for or embrace today, and get ready for tomorrow. But if you don't appreciate yesterday, how could you accept today? A pop out? What that happens, right? But you gotta appreciate yesterday to accept today and prepare for tomorrow, even though tomorrow is not promised to you. Well, it's time for us to embrace what's here today by appreciating yesterday. I just think a lot of people need to figure this out. I just think people need to just sit down and really take the time, close your eyes, and observe these things. Right? Even though like I said, I'm over here putting everything together. I'm learning. I'm learning about the 42 ideas of Mahat. I know they have 42 laws, but I'm looking at the idea of it because you have to understand. You have to appreciate things when it occurred or when it occurred. You have to appreciate the thing. Word was talking about this the other day. The virtue of a thing. You can get some virtue out of a bad thing. You can make the best out of a bad situation. No greater example for me is to see how far I came from 30 years ago when I lost my parents. No greater yo, I see how people act. I see how people respond when they lose their parents at their older years, the 40, 50, their parents might be 70, 80. God bless their souls if they make it to those numbers, right? So now you have to, as I see that, imagine a kid going through that situation. I had to watch my nieces and nephews go through that as I went through it because I seen it. I know what it's like. So I'm like, I'm hugging them, holding them, calling them. Joe, call me. Check. I'm texting you once a week. You text me back. I call you once a week. You call me back. If I don't hear from you, I may do a pop up because I understand. I appreciate what happened yesterday. I remember what happened yesterday. You felt like nobody was in your corner. Nobody was there for you. You think you could figure things out on your own. Here's the difference. I had to figure things out on my own. There was no parents. I had no parents. I had no mother. I had no father. I had no uncles because all of my uncles died before I was 15. See what I'm saying? Death was around me all the time. So if you don't appreciate what happened yesterday, how could you be that better person? How could you be that better uncle? How could you be that better auntie? How could you be that better mother or father? In my case, I can't do none of that without understanding and appreciating how I had to develop from yesterday to today. This is not a, and it's not a pity party, y'all. If you appreciate yesterday, it's not a pity party. You just understanding how far you came from yesterday to today. Open your eyes and say, yo, I have a new opportunity to do something. I have a new opportunity to grow. I have a new opportunity to develop. I have a new perspective to make myself a better version than I was yesterday. That's what life is about. Life is about growing. Life is about that people want to say evolve, and I hate that word, but improving on what you already have. And as a parent, my job was to be a better parent than my parents was. Here's the funny part. I don't really have an example of my parents because they was gone before I could really appreciate what they taught me in the first place. Now I appreciate it, but back then I didn't have it, right? All you could do is lean on their parents, lean on their mothers, right? My mom, my grandmother on my mom's side, my grandmother on my dad's side. You lean on that, right? When you go through the aunties and uncles, and some of the aunties and uncles is only like 15 years older than you. You thinking what they doing is cool, but they learning on the fly. We all learning on the fly. We might as well be cousins damn near because we in that same, not the age group, but in different generations. You have to understand why generations must occur, why they have to be in existence, why they are important to you. So now I have to respect that's my aunt and not just somebody I grew up with. That's auntie. Auntie has to be an example. I have to be an example now, even though I don't have no kids that's around my age. Well, sort of. No, my oldest niece is 28. No, I don't have. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about that. But they have to. They know if they need me, I'm a phone call away. Yo, call me. Pick up the phone. I ain't changing my number for that reason and that reason alone. Let alone my son, who's going through his teenage years. But the fact of the matter is, he has his father. My son has his father. His cousins don't have their father. You see what I'm saying? This is what you need to do. You need to appreciate how far you come. So that means you have to appreciate yesterday. Yes, there's trials. Yes, there was tribulations. Yes, there was suffering. Yes, there was trauma. Yes, there was pain. All of that was there. But at the end of the day, if you learn from it, you will appreciate it in spite of the negative aspect. This is why balance is needed because you had to go through that negative to appreciate the positive. That's why today is a beautiful day, in spite of it, right? It could have been somebody's anniversary that they died, but I would sit here and say, you know what? That person did this, 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 and this. They might not be here. That's a negative, but everything that they did is a positive, and you can make that negative day into a positive one. You can celebrate their life even though they died on that day. But you have to appreciate what yesterday was about. You have to appreciate. Now, if you don't know, you don't know, right? If you don't have the memory of them, you don't have the memory of what happened 15, 20 years ago. I know there's some things that takes away the memory, and it's not Alzheimer's and anything like that. Frankie Blanco, what's going on? I understand all of that, right? I understand that, people got short term memories. I know people who got MS, it takes away some of your memory, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you have to appreciate yesterday. Appreciate yesterday. And for those, like I said, for those of you that's not coming in, that's coming in right now, I'm not talking about the actual yesterday. I'm talking about yesterday as in your past. Because damn it, you know your stories. All of y'all know your stories. All of y'all know what y'all been through. All of y'all know if y'all been through trauma. All of y'all know if y'all been through heartache. All of y'all know if y'all been through suffering. Now, if you carry that on to today, maybe that's why you don't want to, you don't appreciate it because you're still going through it. But I'm here to tell you today, you can break that. You can break that by improving on yourself. How to overcome that is it's an individual basis. How I overcame my situations, I had to go through some trials and tribulations. I had to go through the fire, right? I had to go through, well, damn, I have to be the bigger brother, even though I'm not the big brother. I had to go through those things. And it prepared me to say, you know what? I can't leave my kids like that. I can't leave my son to fend for himself. I can't leave my little daughters to say they don't have the daddy to come to. I can't do that because I remember what it's like not to have a father. My nieces are going through that stages now. That's why I have to be the best uncle possible because I know what it's like to not have a father. And even though I'm not a female, right, to understand how much of a daddy daughter love is, I understand it now because my daughters tell me how much they want me to be around. Even if I'm somewhere far away, Daddy, I'll call you. I'm just talking to you because I just wanted to hear your voice before I go to bed. My nieces can't go through that. They have to go through a memory phase. So I am appreciating the fact that even through the hard times, even through the losses, I became the person that I am today because of yesterday. I live in truth, right? Somewhere, somebody said the truth shall set you free. It can set you free if you want that to be your freedom, because the truth can also keep you in bondage because of the traumas that you ain't overcome. That's why you won't appreciate yesterday because of that trauma. It still weighs heavy on your mind. But the fact of the matter is, you can overcome that trauma by saying, you know what, today I'm going to figure out how to not let that hinder me anymore. Today I'm going to figure out how to take that anchor off my ankle, right? So if somebody throws that anchor in the water, I won't be going with it. I won't be sinking like a ship. I'm going to be here because I know how to unloosen that anchor, unloosen that yoke of the trauma of yesterday. But I'm going to appreciate how much it made me want to improve on myself. And those are the things that we have to understand going forward in this year, right? If you understand, I need to appreciate yesterday. I promise you, as you continue to look at yourself and continue to go through the days of yesterday, you're gonna say, damn, I really came through it for a long way. And keep looking at yourself and keep adding to yourself and keep building up yourself. I promise you, yesterday it'll be a thing of the past, but you will appreciate how far you come. Now later on, we're gonna talk about some things as we go through the year, right? Like people don't understand that your heart is like the earth, right? Meaning that people is going to come in and try to seek and find things to where they can claim their own in you. But that's another story for another day. But the fact is, until you understand what happened yesterday, you're not even going to catch the metaphor of how earth and heart is equal in your life, right? You have to understand those things as you go forward. Like, damn, how the earth and the heart, how are they equal? I'll explain that in a lie, but you have to understand they coexist for a reason. They look alike for a reason. They have the same letters for a reason in life. They have a reason for this to entangle, to equal. But you won't understand that until you appreciate the things of yesterday and say, you know what, I have to start building myself up. I have to understand why I need to learn something new. I have to understand that now I am the example that I was crying about wasn't in existence because it wasn't there before. So now I have to be the example. Sometimes we rise to occasions. Now it's time for the occasion to rise to you. You the occasion that people are going to rise to. What do I mean? Because you are becoming that better version of yourself. Because you are appreciating the things of yesterday. People can no longer say, I can't overcome what happened yesterday when you've done the very exact thing that they saying that can't be happened. You are the example. Liz B, what's going on? Right? And that's the thing that we have to go for. That's the thing we have to look at going forward in our lives. We have to appreciate yesterday. I get it. I promise you. I totally understand. I'm telling you, I get it. Losses, suffering, pains, all of that, trials. I get all of that. But when you become adverse and overcoming those situations, when you defeat the foe, you will understand and appreciate how much you did to get over that hump and see today for what it is, a new day. If you don't see it as a new day, hey, you may have to talk to somebody. You may have to get in your bunker and really examine yourself and say, how do I overcome that? Because you know a lot of people don't want to be vulnerable. I'm one of them people. You've been burnt so much in life, you don't want to be vulnerable. That's what happened yesterday. But today I can become vulnerable to people that I truly know is not going to abuse the vulnerability that I am putting on display. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we have to understand. We are here to elevate. Life is nothing but elevation in life, not just physically as far as growth. You must elevate your mind. You must elevate your spirit. You must elevate the things that's going to get you to your promised land. You still have time to gain the victory in your life. But if you don't appreciate yesterday, you're not going to understand how far you really came. Or are you still dragging yourself? I'm still looking up. You could be still looking up and still climb up, but if you in sinking sand, you're not gonna understand why, because you don't appreciate how far, how much work, how much effort you have to put into your activities in your life, right? I get it. We all life in. Most of us have children. So I get it. We don't have the time to do this and that and the third. It only takes a few minutes to sit back and examine yourself. It only takes you a few minutes to see how far you came. Yo, I remember when I was just a horrible ass kid. Now I gotta be the example for my kids. Let me change up what I did back then so they don't see what I've done. And a lot of us understand what I'm saying because a lot of us have some terrible teenage 20 something years, right? We have that. We was out clubbing and doing all that stuff. We was out there on the block making $1 out of 15 cents. We was doing all of that. But if your kid don't see it, you have an understanding that, yo, there's a reason why I don't want y'all to see that, because that's yesterday, and I can't show you the trauma of yesterday. I only want you to see what is possible for you today, right? 1 + 1 is 2. Not 1 - 1 is nothing, because I'm taking away from you. You have to understand why you have to appreciate yesterday. All I'm saying is you have to, because if you don't, you have somebody behind you looking up to you. And if your parents are still alive, they're looking at you like, boy, you ain't changed a goddamn bit. Or girl, you ain't changed a goddamn bit. All because you want to keep up with the status quo. You want to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out, because they still got trauma on their mind instead of living the life that they're supposed to live freely. But some people peace is chaos, so maybe they chose to stay in that lane. If that's what you want to do, this conversation is not for you, right? It's time for us to let go of yesterday, let go of it, but you appreciate it. Like, damn, the '90s was it, but I can't live in the '90s no more. I have to live in the 2020s. I have to keep up with the times, not with the activities, but the time. Okay, now I have to understand what AI is. I have to understand that they're trying to take away my thought process by chat GBT and all of these other nonsensical things that's going to take away my thinking or creative abilities. I have to learn how to create. Now my job is to make sure that these kids that's mine don't have a creative bone in their body, because there's things being created for them because they speak it and then it comes to be. It's taken away from them. My job is to add to them. But if I was like that as I was yesterday, I wouldn't have gave a damn. I would have been a selfish individual. right? Because when you are in a lonely place, you have no choice but to focus on yourself, right? And even though this is the year of focusing on yourself, you're focusing on yourself because you're trying to become a better version, not to be in a selfish mode as where it's me, me, me. Now it's I have to be a better father. I have to be, I have to teach my kids how to not do this. I have to teach my son how to drive sooner or later. I have to teach my daughters what it's like to have a male that's going to show them the proper way to encounter them, how to love them, how to embrace them, how to accept them, right? But I also leave the mom parts to the situation. Hey, mom, you got to teach them how to be the ladies, how to how to do certain things to keep their feminine aspect apart. But my job is to be an example. I couldn't have been an example 20 years ago because I was a selfish dude. It was about me because I didn't have any kids. So it's me, 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 right? It's no I in team, right? So I had to learn through yesterday how to become a team player because now I have children. That's just a part of life that we have to go through. We have to embrace today by accepting yesterday. That's the best way that I can put this. And it may be repetitive to a lot of people because I probably said the same thing about 10 times, but I want this to hit home for somebody as it's hitting home for me. Be appreciative of today. Be appreciative of yesterday as you continue through today. Tomorrow isn't promised. So even if you are developing yourself today and people are seeing how much you are developing, you got people from 20 years ago that remember you. Oh, he thought he was the shit. Or she thought she was bad as hell. Look at her. I can't say now that you that woman of understanding, that man of understanding. People are going to look at you. They're going to hate you because they still stuck on yesterday. They're not appreciating yesterday. They're stuck on yesterday. It's a big difference. When you appreciate it, you take the gratitude of it and you go forward. But when you're stuck, you're stuck. That's why you need to appreciate it and not be stuck in yesterday. That's the difference. That's why you appreciate yesterday because you understand that today is a new day and there's a newness about you and you're not that person from yesterday. So y'all, like I said, I just felt I had to do this because like I said, it was in the brain. It was talking. I don't know if it was I don't know what the hell made me say this. I don't know. My conscience, yo, say something about. Listen, appreciate today. Appreciate today. Appreciate. Why am I appreciating today? Appreciating yesterday. Why am I appreciating yesterday? Because you're here today. You're not the same person. You had to go through trials and tribulations. You succeeded in those trials and tribulations. It's like people that pray for something, right? People always talk about, well, I want God to do this and that for me. But if you don't even appreciate where you're coming from, how you're going to be placed in a situation to where you are asking for something and He put you there and you fail, what are you going to learn? You're not even appreciative of yesterday. You're not understanding that you came from nothing and you have something. That's the appreciation that you must understand going forward. Today is for you to appreciate yesterday. Tomorrow will be tomorrow you will appreciate today because every day should be an elevation process in your life. And because you are not stuck on yesterday, you will see what today is really, really for you developing into the next version of yourself. Whether it's a split hair, a one process in the day, whatever it is, right? You might learn how to do something. And yes, don't believe the tactic that old dogs can't learn new tricks. Because first of all, you're not an old dog, and anybody with a sound mind that believes or know that their mind could accept anything, it's a growing mind. It'll accelerate into anything that you want to be. Those are the things that you have to understand. Those are the things that we must accept. And without a lot of people in my background telling me that, whether it's the word, Frankie Blanco, Liz, young Riaz, even when Riaz is talking about himself, I'm saying, look, that's him. That could have been me 20 years ago. But I didn't do that because I was worried about me. And he's literally half my age. Literally. Those are the things that you have to. You can see, all right, even if he's on the other side of the pond, you see the enthusiasm of him wanting to grasp and understand things. I just wanted to grasp and understand what I needed to do in order for me to be selfish, because that's just who I was in my 20s, living in the city, living in the hood, living around people that only, they're only thinking about themselves. I gotta go make this, I gotta go bust this move or whatever it is, right? It was very rarely people say, I gotta go to work at 22. I see more people on the streets than going to work at 22, right? And now, as these things are developing, you're starting to see they're taking away from your kids, right? Summer youth jobs, you got to go through the process. It got to be a lottery thing. Nah, make up something for your kids. Listen, you go cut the grass, I'm gonna go pay you this. If you cut the neighbor's grass, I'm gonna pay you. They're gonna pay you. You make your own summer youth. You make your own business. But if you don't appreciate the effort of yesterday, of how you was in sink and sand, not worrying about where the next dollar was coming as a team, you don't have the idea today. Like, wait a minute, you can go cut the grass, or maybe you go trim they bushes or something like that. You don't have those ideas unless you go through the struggles of not having something yesterday. That's why you appreciate yesterday. You appreciate it because you the lessons that you didn't see, you can have a better visual of it today because you have better discernment, better observation skills, and better wisdom that was added unto you because you appreciate the things of yesterday. If I'm lying, y'all don't have to listen to me. But this is what worked for me. I promise you. It may have worked for you in another format and another concept, but I'm telling you, I promise you, if you understand how far you come, you are going to appreciate yesterday. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I just had to get that off my chest. Um, I truly appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, this ain't even, I know I'm either on in the morning or I'm with my 33 brother at night, but I just had to get this off my chest because it was or off my mind or wherever it came from, the conscious, the soul, wherever it came from, I need to get this off. Why? Because it was talking to me while my day was going. Appreciate yesterday. What do you mean? Appreciate yesterday. What do you mean? Appreciate yesterday. What do you mean? Oh, appreciate how far you come. Appreciate the fact that you are where you aren't where you was yesterday. And when you do that, you will see a new version of yourself in its developmental state. Even if you just thought about it right now, as I said it, you will see a development in your thought process that's going to say, let me try that, put that process in my mind, right? Let me go ahead and sit down and picture what that means. If you can do that, I promise you, today will be better than yesterday. You will understand how much yesterday has really helped you to see today for what it truly is, and how far have you come, and how much improved you was from yesterday. I don't care if it's your thought process. I don't care if it's your actions. I don't care what it is. You're gonna see you're not the same as you was yesterday. I promise you that. So, like I said, with that being said, y'all, wait until you begin appreciating the moment you can while you in it. But a lot of people not going to appreciate the moment because they don't appreciate yesterday. And that's the thing. Like, damn, I just had this like right now. Let me put this up here. Let me just show y'all what we talk about, right? The other day we had a conversation about the he was talking about part 1 and 2 of the 42 laws of Mahat. And he was talking about the virtue and appreciate things. I'm like, no, the best way I could understand that is to make the best out of a bad situation, right? So this is what I did. I sat back. I really observed what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday? Okay, what happened was you grew up and damn, you could have really been one of those people. You had losses. You could have gave in. You could have succumbed to the regular situation. You could have been an idiot on the block, selling drugs, going to jail, coming home, repeating the same cycle. Someone somewhere in my mind said, yo, you don't have to do that. And if you do that, you better figure out how to get out of there quick, fast, in a hurry. You have the conversations in your mind, right? So you have to go through the trials and tribulations. You have to make that travel over here. Okay, who was these people? How did y'all overcome this situation? Grandma, how did you overcome the fact that you don't have your sons here? My other grandma, how do you deal with the fact that that your daughter, your child is not here? How do you deal with that? I don't understand it. I'm looking at it because I lost my mother. You looking at it from your daughter. How do you get through this? Well, I do a lot of, sitting still, but now I have to live my life for you. Grandma, I don't want you to live your life for me. How can I help you? That's where the growth started for me. Because I don't, as much as she wanted, I swear, the praying y'all know those churchy grandmothers, the praying grandmothers, they come through, they sitting at the church, they praying for you to do the right thing. And then all of a sudden, they got this other child to situate. They got this other, my little brother to worry. Grandma, I don't want you to do, Grandma, man, it got to the point for me where I was so worried about what she had to go through. I made myself sick physically just thinking about what she had to go through. That's a part of the appreciation. Like that's what makes me who I am today. But at the same time, as I'm going through that, she's telling me, "Yo, don't worry about me. And I can't do that. I gotta take care of you, and I'm going to take care." Like the selflessness is what I saw, and when I saw that selflessness, I'm like, "Yo, that is a hell of a superpower. Call it what you want. It's a superpower to me." That's what made me say, "Yo, I have to do this like this." She's my example. She's I ain't gonna don't take this verbatim, but she is my hero, my lord, because she's doing something that is at the highest pinnacle of selflessness. She worried about these kids that, hey, I could have gave y'all up. I'm too old for this shit. Right? She's in her 60s, we in our early teens. My little brother's like 10. I could have gave y'all up. No, I'm gonna do what I need to do to keep this family intact. That's a superpower to me. So that's why I could come through. I could say a prayer for somebody that's going through something on this internet. I could come through and say, you know what, everything's gonna be all right. Why? Because I had that role model. I had that superhero to come through and show me to be the example that I never thought I would see. Because I had no men in my life because all my uncles were dead. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that may touch my feminine side. Later on, I got to find my masculine side, but the balance is what got me here today because I have to appreciate what I had to go through yesterday in order to get to where I am today. This is the thing that you have to go through. These are the things that you have to understand. And no, you still have time to appreciate today. I don't care if you're 48, 68, 28, 18, 22, 30, whatever your age is, you can appreciate yesterday and get yourself ready for today. That's the job. That's the assignment in all of our lives. And it ain't just for us here, that's us anywhere. So you guys can take it how you want to take it. But far as I'm concerned, I'm going to appreciate yesterday because it has brought me from a mighty, 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 mighty selfish long way. But now I do have to be selfish. And it doesn't mean that I'm being selfish for myself because this is the year of the one. So I'm not being selfish for myself. I'm being selfish so that way when somebody comes to me, I can have the information for them. I could be the example for them. But in order for me to have those examples, I have to take time for myself, pour into myself, and become what I need to become today by appreciating yesterday. I have to put all of that into the blender and become the best version of Busted Down Brown that I can be. And when I become that, and while I become that, I'm gonna let the example speak for itself. I'm gonna let today speak for itself. And you guys that are going through your own todays, you understand how much to appreciate yesterday. So, like I said, with that being said, y'all, I truly appreciate y'all coming through. Like I said, It came it came through, on the heart, on the mind, on the soul, on the spirit. I just pour it out. Pour it out. If you grasp and understand what's being said today, that's what's up. If it takes you a while to understand it, so be it. If it ain't for you to understand, so be it. But somebody is going to catch what's being said. Selena, how you feeling? That you just have to appreciate yesterday. I promise you. If you Happy New Year's to you too, Selena. I promise you, if you appreciate what you have come through from yesterday, you will understand why you are here today. That's the only job that we have to deal with right now. Like I said, this is the year of the one. You are the one that makes you better. Can't nobody else make you but you. Well, let me rephrase that. Ain't nobody supposed to make you but you. People are here to add to your life. Don't let nobody take from it. We have been taken from for the longest period of time. We have been taken from yesterday. We have allowed people to go through our things, our possessions, our time, our efforts, and our hearts. This is why, like I said, I'll talk about why earth and heart makes why they're equal. We'll have that conversation for another day. But on this day, it's time for you to appreciate yesterday and see how far you came from where you were to where you are and embrace today. It's time to embrace today. But in order to embrace today, appreciate yesterday. So, like I said, guys, like I said, I truly appreciate everybody coming through. I like if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, leave the information on the table. So that way, realist, what's going on? Leave the information there. So that way, if it doesn't apply to you, it apply to somebody else, somebody could pick it up and take it where they need to take it. Place it in their heart, place it in their spirits, place it in their souls, wherever they're going to place it. Let them have it. And like I said, just appreciate yesterday so you can embrace today. So with that being said, y'all, I truly appreciate y'all coming through. I'll catch y'all at another time. For now, I'm out. Appreciate y'all.